Another big headline this morning, not just America's allies upset over the agency's wiretapping. One of its staunchest backers, Senator Dianne Feinstein, is now calling for a full review of the mass data collection at home and abroad. The California Democrat who chairs the Senate Intelligence Committee says she's totally opposed to spying on U.S. allies. According to Senator Feinstein, Congress has not been adequately kept in the loop on all this. Feinstein also said the administration assured her the surveillance would not continue, a point some officials later challenged. While the president may be poised to order a ban on eavesdropping on friendly leaders, it's still unclear what exactly the White House knew and when. The agency has said it did not inform the president of reported monitoring of German Chancellor Angela Merkel. But the LA Times, citing current and foreign officials, says the White House and State Department both signed off on it.
Mike, you're taken back to the days of Iran-Contra. Again, I'm not comparing any of these scandals to Iran-Contra or any of these dust-ups to Iran-Contra, but we keep having to ask ourselves the question, is the president really in the dark? The way everybody around him claims that he's in the dark about these huge issues? And if he is that worse than if he had known about it? Dana Milbank wrote this in the Washington Post today. For a smart man, President Obama professes to know very little about a great number of things going on in his administration. On Sunday night, the Wall Street Journal reported he didn't learn about until this summer the NSA had been bugging the phones of German Chancellor Angela Merkel and other world leaders for nearly 5 years. That followed by a few days a claim by HHS Secretary Sebelius that Obama didn't know about problems on the HealthCare.gov website before the launch. On issues including IRS targeting flap and the Justice Department's use of subpoenas against reporters, the White House have frequently given a variation on this theme. The question, what did Obama know and when did he know it? Answer, not much, and about a minute ago.
Well, if he didn't know...
I mean, not much, and about a minute ago. And so now we're hearing from from other people that he did know for 5 years that Angela Merkel and allies had been. I mean, this is bad.
Well, the length of time that the program has been under operation, or at least the length of time that's been published, 5 years, perhaps it's been longer with various world leaders. But if he did not know, if you choose to believe the President of the United States, and I believe the President of the United States, I want to believe the President.
Some reports suggest they signed off on it, though. But
if he didn't know, why did he not know? And the larger question is, do we have an out-of-control national security agency? Do we have a secret government in the shadows of government that the President of the United States, an elected official, doesn't know about?
So our feed from the south of France is obviously up because I just heard groaning.
Yes, that's
groaning.
Me.
So Mika, thank you so much for showing up. And would you like to just pop right in and defend the president? Because God knows he needs somebody defending him this morning, given all the things going on.
Okay, a couple of things. It started in the Bush administration, so I guess you could ask if President Bush knew too, and put those questions to him as well.
Secondly, what started in the Bush administration?
This monitoring of phone calls
of foreign leaders, because I haven't seen any evidence of that. Well, no, I want you to educate us. I want you to educate us. What report suggests that George W. Bush tapped the phones of world leaders?
When did this start?
4 or 5 years ago, about this same time.
2002.
The tapping of foreign leaders?
Yes, yeah. And so you have to apply the same questions to President Bush, first of all, whether they do or do not know. And I think Barnacle brought up the biggest point, and that is the NSA overreaching in its power? Is this something people want done, but they don't want to hear about it? You've got to look at that part of it, too, because we could apply this to a couple of the different issues that we complained about or argued about on our set about the conduct of the Bush administration. But I would say that most importantly, the important disconnect that I think is happening in this story is that people are thinking that's like someone is sitting there listening to her conversations. The phone calls are being monitored. That's different than tapping the
You know who
phone.
wrote a great
Well,
column
we
about
don't-
this was Gene.
Gee,
Well,
am I wrong?
I did write about
Correct
this
me.
this morning, actually, and you know,
I was reading that.
do we think the NSA is out of control?
Yes, right here.
Some of us do think the NSA is out of control, and some
Yeah.
of us think, you know, it's an interesting question, though. We don't know all about what the president knew and when he knew it, and but it is certainly outrageous to me that the NSA would think it could, like, tap the phone of, you know, monitor the phone of the German chancellor without telling anybody.
And Gene, since you wrote on this, help me out. Is there evidence that George W. Bush had the NSA tap the phones of our top allies in Germany?
Well, no, there is, Joe.
Or France, or
reports.
Is there
reports,
evidence of that?
Reports in my newspaper and in other newspapers from the reporters who are well sourced in this say that this program of, like, you know, snoop on your friends it started in like 2002. So it had been going on for some time. So we haven't really delved yet into, you know, what was it different in the Bush years than the Obama years? Where was the NSA indeed doing this without letting people know? And that's a big question to me.
One of the things that we were talking about was how remarkable it would be that Edward Snowden might have known about this and Barack Obama didn't.
Right.
And then the other
Think
thing that's striking to me is, you know, obviously, I understand that these programs are very controversial, but the amount of controversy over this program is a little bit higher, it seems, than when we found out that they were collecting bulk data on regular citizens. I mean, Dianne Feinstein, the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, is outraged over this disclosure, but very fine.
So I don't
with
know
the other
what's
one.
worse, to express, Mike Barnicle, that I think it's many world leaders that had this happen to them, not just Angela Merkel, and I wonder if that should have come out or if that creates more of a firestorm. But again, it's not George W. Bush sitting there with his Beats headphones on listening to Angela Merkel's conversations or President Obama. It's very different. Mike.
But Mike, if the president knows, if he's getting this intel, and if these reports are right that the White House and the State Department signed off on it, he knows, without sitting there with his headphones on, that we're tapping our phones.
I'm sure he knows at some level the depth of this program, but probably not the entire depth of the program. But one thing that's missing in this conversation that we're having, that others are having, that's in the newspapers, is the level of anxiety, fear, apprehension, alertness that existed on September 12th, 2001 still exists today. And the world is indeed a dangerous place. And Joe, you have spoken to people in the Intelligence Committee. We have all spoken to people in the Intelligence Committee who will tell you the threat level that the president receives in his overnight presidential daily briefings and that other officials receive is horrific. Horrific.
No, I've been saying it, and this is one of the reasons Mika and I think, Mika, some of our biggest battles on this show have involved what we have to do to keep this world safe.
Right.
I guess the only thing I would say in 2013, we are in 2013, right, Willie?
Right.
Yeah.
At least for,
I still get it wrong on checks.
a couple
but
more months. I know. I'm still like 1978.
What are you doing writing checks?
So, what are you writing checks? You're not in the wrong year. You're in the wrong era.
Mika's that woman at the grocery store, gets out the check.
Reach in your bag and get the checkbook and get it over with.
You got me.
It's not going through the card.
Ma'am, we don't accept checks.
No, I mean, listen, I mean, yes, the world's a dangerous place. And yes, but this is one more example of how Barack Obama and his supporters suggested that George W. Bush and Dick Cheney shredded the Constitution and hated civil liberties and were the worst thing that ever happened. And you couldn't walk around the Upper West Side without people selling postcards of him as Adolf Hitler. And I told you before he got elected, he was going to do all of this because all of my friends in the intel community said the second he gets elected, he's going to amp it up, and he has done exactly that. I mean, this is stunning how he has taken, whether it's the drone policy or the NSA, how he's taken the Bush-Cheney policies and turned it up to 11.
Well, no, in this case, it's just the Bush-Cheney policies continuing.
Well, look, let's be honest.
We don't know that.
He has amped up some of the NSA scrutiny. He has amped up the drone program. There's no question about that, Joe. He stopped torture and he closed the secret CIA
Oh, there
prison.
is that.
So there's a lot that Bush and Cheney did.
He stopped waterboarding. Yes,
he stopped waterboarding.
Bush waterboarded. Under Bush's policy and under that program, 3 people were waterboarded.
Well,
and they had already stopped waterboarding in 2005. So thank God he got elected. You know, the world loves us so much more today than they did. You guys were all right. If we could only get Barack Obama in the White House, we would once again be loved by the people of Luxembourg. I feel so good. You know, when I walk through the streets of Luxembourg, it's almost like Kennedy is president. You can walk through Ireland and you feel the love from the people. When Willie and I are going through Cork, they love us. Oh, at last you got a good president, man. Not someone who shreds the Constitution. Not someone, okay, well, you know, maybe he accidentally drops drones on us.
Okay,
you know,
Jer.
and taps Imam's phone. But they respect us. We love America. Come on.
Oh,
you people are jokes.
Are you drunk?
You people are all jokes.
Okay.
This is what you got. You got a drone dropping, phone tapping president. Boy, you make some lovers across the world.
Mika, come home. Come home.
This is just like the country lyrics.
I'm just laughing at you guys. We all knew it was a crock of crap, and it was. We don't love the world doesn't love us more. Good Lord. They're looking up
first block this.
Once they've spoken,
You better get back. Somebody give him a blanket to hug. All right, coming up on morning.
Hello. Are you? Is it Mom?
God. Coming up on Morning Joe,
Mom, is my
Senator
phone clicking?
Chuck Schumer will join us if he isn't watching right now. Also, Hardball's Chris Matthews. We're going to talk to columnist Charles Krauthammer about his new book, Joe. And later, Mr. October, our conversation with Hall of Famer Reggie Jackson. Up next, the top stories in the Politico Playbook. But first, Bill Cairns with a check on the forecast. Bill.
Good morning to you, Mika. Joe at his best. 1 year ago today was when Hurricane Sandy was going onshore in southern Jersey. And this storm obviously left its mark, one of the worst we've ever seen in this country. We just wanted to explain briefly why it was so bad and, the could it happen again type scenarios. As far as the storm, what made this storm so bad, it was only a Category 1 hurricane, was that it was 1,000 miles across, one of the largest storms that we've ever seen anywhere in the Atlantic Basin, let alone one coming on shore in the highly populated areas of New Jersey. And the storm track also was just unprecedented. Usually these storms go up to the Bahamas and then they go out to sea. This one came on shore, which that left turn was just crazy. And again, 50 billion, only about second all time. As far as today's weather goes, there are some bad storms in the middle of the country, Kansas City, Minneapolis. Severe storms possible today west of Dallas, but in the next couple of days, severe weather outbreak is possible from St. Louis down to Dallas-Fort Worth. So if you're traveling today, the bottom line, East Coast is fine. Middle of the country is where all your travel trouble will be today, right through Halloween. You're watching Morning Joe on this Wednesday.